The brazen bull stands as one of history's most horrific symbols of cruelty, a device whose very design was meant to break both body and spirit. Forged in bronze and crafted with a disturbing blend of ingenuity and sadism, this device was conceived in ancient times as the ultimate punishment, a public spectacle that left its victims and onlookers forever scarred. Its origins trace back to the twisted mind of Perillos of Athens, who, according to legend, designed the bull not as a mere execution tool, but as an artful demonstration of power. The very idea was to convert agony into a macabre form of entertainment, a statement that dissent or transgression would be met with a punishment so severe that it echoed throughout society. Imagine a massive, imposing bull cast entirely in bronze, every curve and contour carefully hammered into a shape that both mimicked the strength of the animal and betrayed the horror within. On the outside, its surface gleamed under the harsh light, the polished metal reflecting an image of formidable beauty. Yet, this deceptive facade concealed an interior designed for terror. A hollow chamber within the bull, accessible only by a small, unyielding door, awaited the condemned. Once inside, there was no escape. The victim was trapped within a narrow, enclosed space that offered nothing but the promise of unimaginable pain. The punishment was as meticulously orchestrated as it was merciless. The condemned was forced into this metal beast, their fate sealed with the closing of the door. Then, in an act that defied basic human decency, the bull was heated from beneath. Whether by hot air or molten metal, the interior temperature would rise rapidly, transforming the vessel into a blazing furnace. The heat would intensify relentlessly, with the bronze itself conducting a searing burn onto the victim's skin. The physical agony was only part of the terror. The design of the bull cleverly amplified the suffering. Its shape, particularly the open mouth and curved horns, functioned as an acoustic amplifier, projecting the victim's screams of despair far beyond the confines of the device. Witnesses to such a punishment were not merely bystanders. They became unwilling participants in a public display of horror. In ancient forums and marketplaces, large crowds would gather to witness the spectacle. The air would be thick with a mix of fear, morbid fascination, and a grim sense of inevitability. As the victims' agonized cries echoed through the air, those present were forced to confront the brutal reality of absolute power, a power that reduced human life to a tool for enforcing control. The echoes of pain, reverberating off stone walls and open spaces alike, served as a grim reminder that cruelty was not confined to the shadows, but was a sanctioned part of societal order. What makes the brazen bull so chilling is not merely its physical mechanism, but the psychological impact it inflicted on all who encountered it. In ancient societies, where public punishment was both a warning and a form of social control, the bull symbolized the complete dehumanization of the individual. It stripped away any vestige of dignity, reducing a person to nothing more than a vessel for pain and suffering. The psychological torment began long before the execution itself. The mere sight of the gleaming bronze bull, juxtaposed against the vulnerability of the human form, was enough to instill terror. In the minds of the populace, it became an icon of the extremes to which authority would go to maintain order, a reminder that defiance could lead to a fate worse than death. Historical accounts, though often shrouded in myth and fragmented details, provide a window into the pervasive dread that surrounded the brazen bull. Chroniclers of ancient times recorded its use in the most severe cases of treason or rebellion. In one account, a notorious criminal condemned for inciting insurrection was forced into the bull, his final moments recorded in harrowing detail by those who dared to witness. The screams that emerged from within the device were said to carry the sound of 1,000 tormented souls, a cacophony that lingered long after the execution had ended. These descriptions, passed down through generations, have cemented the brazen bull's reputation as the worst punishment in human history. Beyond its immediate use, the brazen bull became a potent symbol in literature and art. Poets and playwrights, captivated by the juxtaposition of beauty and brutality, used the image of the bull to explore themes of power, injustice, and the dark side of human ambition. In these works, the bull was not merely an instrument of torture, but a metaphor for the destructive potential of unchecked authority. Its image served as a constant warning that progress and order could be achieved at the steepest of human costs. The legacy of the Brazen Bull, therefore, is twofold. It is a record of historical cruelty and a timeless symbol of the moral questions that arise when power is exercised without compassion. As we examine the Brazen Bull through the lens of modern understanding, it becomes clear that its construction was both a technical feat and a moral abomination. Ancient metallurgists possessed an impressive knowledge of metalworking, yet they channeled that expertise into creating a device designed solely to inflict suffering. The bull's intricate design required a deep understanding of thermal conductivity, acoustics, and human anatomy, a perverse fusion of art and science. Every rivet, every carefully measured curve was intended to maximize agony. This calculated cruelty stands in stark contrast to contemporary values, forcing us to reflect on how far humanity has come, and yet, how the potential for such brutality still exists under the surface of our modern world. In classrooms, the story of the Brazen Bull is sometimes recounted not only as a historical curiosity, but as a lesson in ethics and the consequences of absolute power. It challenges us to consider the ways in which societies have justified cruelty in the name of order, and it serves as a reminder that the pursuit of justice must always be tempered by humanity. The lessons of the Brazen Bull resonate even today, urging us to scrutinize the balance between authority and empathy. Its grim legacy prompts a deeper inquiry. How can we ensure that the systems we create to maintain order do not devolve into instruments of inhumanity? The psychological legacy of the Brazen Bull endures in the collective memory of humanity. Even centuries later, its image stirs a deep, visceral response, one that transcends time and culture. For many, it is a symbol of the darkest capabilities of the human mind, a reminder that cruelty can be hidden behind the veneer of civilization. The echoes of the screams that once filled ancient air have become metaphors for the pain inflicted by tyrannical regimes and the suffering of those caught in the crossfire of power struggles. The Brazen Bull compels us to confront a fundamental question. In our quest for order and progress, what price are we willing to pay, and what parts of our humanity are we prepared to sacrifice? As historians piece together the fragments of ancient records and archaeological findings, the story of the Brazen Bull continues to evolve. New interpretations and discoveries add layers of complexity to our understanding of this brutal device. Scholars debate the extent of its use and the precise methods employed by its creators, but one fact remains undeniable. The Brazen Bull represents a nadir in the history of human punishment. Its existence forces us to reckon with the reality that the capacity for cruelty is not confined to any single era, but is a recurring theme in the human story. And as we reflect on the legacy of the Brazen Bull, we are confronted with the uncomfortable truth that the lessons of the past are not easily forgotten. The very existence of such a device reminds us that progress is a double-edged sword, capable of both elevating and devastating humanity. It challenges us to ask whether our modern systems of justice, punishment, and control are immune to the same dehumanizing forces that once gave rise to the Brazen Bull. The answer, perhaps, lies in our willingness to learn from history and to hold ourselves accountable for the treatment of every individual. And remember, every exploration into our darkest past urges us to build a future where cruelty is never celebrated and where the dignity of every human life is fiercely protected. Thank you for watching. If you're fascinated by history's darkest and most gripping tales, subscribe to Freak Files for more in-depth documentaries that bring the past to life. Join our community and never miss a story that shapes the present. This is Freak Files channel that bring dark history and horror story to life via documentary. And remember, history's cruel lessons demand we never repeat them.